Hello, so this is the presentation video for my engines work. To start with, we have my projectile weapons. The projectile weapons, the way they work is they'll perform a trace based on the camera location, and if they hit an impact point, then that will be set as the transform for the projectile. But if they don't, then they'll just use the end point of the trace as the transform for the projectile. This is to ensure that the projectiles are accurate. And this is an example of my inventory system as well while we're here. So the item can be picked up and it can also be dropped back on the floor. And then we have the rocket launcher, the grenade launcher, sorry. So if you're already holding a weapon and you attempt to pick up another one, then it will be stored on your back instead. So with the grenade launcher, it uses the same code as the auto rifle, except it fires a high velocity grenade instead. That is affected by gravity and it explodes on impact, and then it will do radial damage, whereas the auto rifle just does normal applied damage. And next we have my instant fire weapon. So this is the sniper rifle. So the sniper rifle, instead of getting a transform from the trace, because it uses the same trace, it will instead just use a hit actor in order to instantly deal damage. The sniper rifle also has custom functionality in that you can zoom with it. Yeah, so that's that. Next we have my second pawn, which for this I designed a small drone that you can fly around. The drone can go higher and lower, and it also has its own weapon system, so it has its own functionality. To return to the player, you can just press the E key and you'll return, and it's the E key to select the drone as well, which all happens through interfaces. Next we have an example of direct referencing a single object. So for this I created a button that can activate anything that's in the world. For this example I just have it activate the drone so that you control the drone. Next we have another button, but this one is capable of activating an array of objects, so it can activate multiple objects. As an example, I've made it open 2 doors. This is some examples of references. These are some of my ammo pickups, which I'll get to properly in a moment. But essentially these use interfaces in order to communicate with the weapon system. And with the health, it will directly communicate with the player and check their health level, and based on that we'll give them a certain amount of health. These are some examples I've made of event dispatchers. So both my the guns will use event dispatchers in order to tell an item spawner I created when they've been picked up, so that the item spawner can respawn that item after a given time. And then this is my manager, which I'll explain shortly. This is my inventory stuff, so this is the rest of the ammo pickups and the health pickups. So the ammo pickups will check through your inventory and check whether you've got the particular weapon that it's meant to give you ammo for, and if you do, then it will do another check to see if you have less than the maximum amount of ammo allowed, and then if you do, it will add that ammo to the weapon. Also in my inventory we have these grenades. So these grenades are built into the inventory system as well as a secondary weapon, and they get stored on your back by default, but then they can be selected within the inventory and then they'll work. Also, for my inventory, I created a system where you can select any weapon at any time using the 1, 2, and 3 number keys, so that you don't have to cycle through the inventory to get to a particular thing. And then lastly we have my manager. For my manager I made a simple wave system. So when the level loads, the manager will dynamically spawn targets and which get tied to an event dispatcher to check when they've died. And it also keeps track of how many enemies have been killed, and if they've all been killed, it'll do a check to see if you're on the last wave, which is just a integer that gets added to every time you complete a wave. If you're not on the last wave, then it will start a new wave. However, if you are on the last wave, then the manager will activate an item in the world. There you go, so now the door opens. Okay, so that's my presentation video, so thanks, bye.